Hello everyone, it's Donna here. Hope you're all doing okay. Welcome back to the channel. Lovely to see you here today. Today's video is continuing from where we left off last time, doing my journaling from a trip to York that I recently went on. So last time we left off with this Bird and Blend tea bag that I was debating what to do with. In the end, I just stick that down and made a flip out of it. I did some journaling underneath. I then used the vellum pocket to put in some leaflets from a pop-up exhibition, and then I decided to use the page on the right to add my photographs that go alongside the exhibition. And I decided to add some patterned paper that I thought went well. I thought it matched the colours and the patterns in the little leaflets and the business card there on the left. And what I actually decided to do was, instead of cutting the width to size, I actually scored and folded over so that I could create a pocket on the next page. I used Collal to stick the paper down. Collal's nice and strong, silicone based. So it's nice and strong to hold that paper in place. And then I was able to pop the photographs over the top, just arrange them so they fit. And that was a really quick page to complete. So turning over, I had a few pictures from the York Ghost Merchants. It's a shop in York. I'm not really sure how it kind of got its popularity, but it's a really popular one, and they make little ghosts which have become like a collectible item. So the queue wasn't very long when we were there, so we thought, why not pop in? And I kind of debated what paper to put on here, so I got some of my Halloween papers and Autumn Grunge papers. I also grabbed this Geli plate print. I thought that might go nice. In the end, I decided to use some scrap paper from the Grungy Autumn Kit, and also that yellow floral one is from my Correspondence Kit. I thought the colours went really well, so I popped that in place, and then I stuck this scrap piece of paper over the top just to fill in the gap where the pocket didn't cover. And then for the pocket, nice and simple, bit of glue down each side. I did add some washi to the top, just where I'd cut the paper a tiny bit short, and then I added some to the bottom as well, just for some consistency. And then I popped this little flyer on top of the pocket as well. Used some magic tape to pop that in so that I could flick it over and see what was on the back. So this magic tape is great. I'm not sure if I used it in my last video. It's so good. Scotch magic tape. You can put it on and it's almost invisible. If you burnish it down, you can barely see it. I would really recommend it if you're into journaling or junk journaling and you like to add extra things into your journals. This is something that I would really recommend. It's pretty affordable and does a really good job. It holds nice and strong as well. And you can see I could just flick that over and just still access the information and the map on the back. So on the right hand side, there was actually this little cupboard, and when you opened it, had all these little ghosts inside. So I thought it would be fun to do just something a little bit interactive, nothing mad. But I actually bought this ghost here at the front for myself, and then the one at the back just behind that for my mum. Oh, and here he is. He comes in a little box. Oh, he's peeking out saying boo. But I thought it might be a good idea to create a cupboard using the photograph and then sticking the picture of the ghost behind, as though I was opening the cupboard like I did while I was in the shop. So again, faffed about with different papers, trying to find something that matched. In the end, I found this scrap of paper. This again is from the Correspondence Kit, and I chose it because I felt it worked well with the patterns and the colours on the left hand side. I also like that little blue label up at the top, just gives a little bit of extra detail, and that blue also ties in with the blue on the left. So to go about making this interactive element, all I did was score down the left hand side at just at the edge of that photo frame, and then used a craft knife to cut the remaining 3 sides, so that would allow it to open and fold backwards like you would do with a cupboard door. And then it was just a case of sticking it on top of that picture. And that was a really quick, simple little interactive element. And on that inside of the cupboard, I thought that would be an ideal place to put some journaling. So I tried a few different papers. In the end, I decided to use some more of that scrap floral, the yellow. It ties it in with that page behind, and also it uses the paper up. And I used it to make a little pocket with a journaling card inside. And then this Geli print I used as the background for that. I do have these Geli prints as a digital download in my shop. There's grungy kind of black and browns, and there's also like an orangey and yellow colour, which is good for like autumn and Halloween. So I will link those below. Anything that I mention in this video or use, or any kits, anything like that, I will link in the description. And I do also use quite a few pre-made elements as well, which you'll see in the flip through at the end. I will also link the videos to those as well, so you can go back and watch them if you want to. I did end up cutting that black a little bit too short, so I used some of the Tim Holtz tape just to kind of go around the edges, tidy that up a little bit, stuck the pocket down, and then I used the collal again to stick the cupboard down. I didn't add anything else. I thought I would just let that speak for itself. And I popped a little journaling card in there, ready to be journaled on. So in the shop, there's a little light box where you can put your ghost that you've just bought and place him as though he's in the Shambles, which is where the shop is, the Shambles in York. It's really cute. It's a really cute idea. And I had a couple of photographs that I took, and I found some gold photo corners. And because that was like a vellum, actually I think it's tracing paper, but because I wanted to be able to see through it and I didn't want anything heavy on it, I decided to just put the photo corners on and leave it as is, which means I could take the photograph out if I want to, but also I still keep that kind of interactive see-through element of the tracing paper. And then I came across this folder of delightful things, which I'd completely forgotten about. These are years old. I think probably about 10 years old now. But I found these see-through pockets, which I completely forgot I had. And they're so handy. You just stick them down and put your photograph in, and you can still lift them up and put something underneath them. So they're a really good idea. On this left-hand side, I used one of those vellum journaling cards to create a pocket. I used some stenciled book page as some decoration in the background. I do have a video on that as well, which I will link. Found a little pre-cut circle. And then I found a little die cut in my catch-all on my desk to put on the top of the tag, and then just basically got it all stuck together. So I used magic tape for the pocket, and you'll see how it's almost undetectable. So it worked really well, and it made a nice snug pocket for my journaling card. Then I just popped that little circle on the die cut to use as my tag, and that was ready to go again. Another quick page, just letting the photo speak for itself. And then with this pocket, all you do then is take that backing off and stick it down. And that was that one done. So on the back, where I've got the picture in the photo corners, I decided to do another pocket. So this kind of journaling card is a pre-made card. I do have a video on it, which I think is called Peekaboo Tags. I will link that one as well. But I thought the colours went really well. So I decided that I would use that as some journaling. And I did choose some plain book paper as well, just to cover that photo. Although I do change this for some coffee dyed paper, which is a little bit more decorative. But that's ready to go on there. So you'll see I start putting things in place, and then I go back and start gluing everything down and just finalising everything. Turning over, this is a pre-made envelope as well. I think I do have a video on this, which I decided to use for some photographs. And my idea was just stick that on with a paper clip. Similar with the envelope on this side, that envelope is pre-made. I did want to dive into my Garden Grunge kit. This is available on Etsy. I love this kit, but I did want to incorporate maybe some paper or a tag, and I found this scrap that's got a little poem about birds, which I thought would be nice to use because the photographs were from a park. So I decided to use that, but then I also had a quick flick through as well because it's been a while since I've used these papers, but I absolutely love them. I will link these in my Etsy shop. You can see here there's like journal toppers. I made these and then scanned them. So there's all types of things in there. And then I'm flicking back to the Bird and Blend because I found this photo of myself and I thought the colours went well. So I popped that onto there before flicking back to another blank page to put some photos of our hotel room and to create some extra space. I actually decided to do a little bit of like a waterfall type situation where I cut strips of the photos and staggered them and then used the magic tape at the top to hinge them so that I could actually kind of almost like pile them on top of each other but lift them so that I could see the photographs underneath. So that's a really quick, easy way of adding some extra space if you need it. And then on this right hand side, I had already folded the coffee dye paper in to make a pocket. So I just stuck that down and I did use that to put some photographs in of a walk along the city walls, and I used that flap for my journaling space. Then came across these photos, which I will come back to, but I thought that large one would be good at the very beginning. It's a kind of placeholder. Because there's quite a few photographs over a couple of weeks, I thought it would be nice to kind of group them a little bit. So I thought I would use that as my starting page. And then I'm just flicking through, adding extra envelopes. Again, this is a pre-made envelope. And using those for additional photos. And similar to the hotel room photos, I have a lot of photos here. So I did something similar. And in addition to having the envelope for the photos, I thought that I would have a full page of photos there and again hinge them so that I could still use the page underneath. So now I'm flicking back right to the start so that I can make a start on that very first page. These labels are from my file folder kit. I will link it in the description. I use that larger white one and also the one that says agenda and that smaller one that says filed to make a little cluster at the top right of the photograph. And also I prepared one of the tabs from the kit so that I could use it on the top of a tag. And a little trick that I always do for cutting these tabs out is to just cut round them roughly and then actually score down the middle, fold and then cut, because then it's equal on both sides. So even if you go wonky, it's going to be wonky on both sides and it will still match. Then you can take a small hole punch, either cut by hand or use the hole punch to just take the corners off. That's a really quick, easy way of doing it. So I had this pre-made tag and then stuck some labels on the back for some journaling space, stapled the tab on, and then I used the large photo as a pocket before sticking that little cluster of labels onto the top right. To make sure I didn't stick the tag permanently into the pocket, I just made sure I put glue at the bottom of these labels, and then that little small filed one, that could just be stuck down fully because, you know, it wasn't interfering with anything. Then I found some extra die cuts and little things in my bits and bobs box. I thought these gold leaves in this wreath shape, they reminded me of like Caesar's crown or something like that. So I thought they had a real kind of Roman look about them. So I decided to use that on the photograph, and I cut out the today label as well. It's the worst cutting out of a circle I think I've possibly ever done. The vellum wreath, I just used a tiny bit of tape runner so that it wouldn't be visible. And this is the more decorative paper that I found for the back of that photograph. I'm using the magic tape again here to make that pocket. before moving on to this page. Now the doily on this page is from the Sue Ryder shop, the charity shop, and the upstairs level was actually a vintage and retro store. And I found some doilies. So here's some photographs of it here. And I thought I could use a part of the doily to make some form of kind of pocket or tuck. So I just stapled that into place. And here's a selection of the doilies here just to show you kind of what I bought. And then I actually decided to take the labels off as well and kind of keep those as a memento. So that's another really quick idea if you've got some fabric or a little bit of, I don't know, a napkin or something like that you can use and recycle. Not only have you made an element in your journal, it's also got the double whammy of being like a memory for you as well. And then the last thing was to stick these photographs down here to make my flip. And then I did have one blank page, which was ideal actually, because I did actually go into Waterstones and buy a book. So I used the Waterstones bag to cover the page and just cut that to size. And I do have this little printer. I couldn't tell you where I got it from. I think I saw it advertised on Instagram, something like that. But I printed out a picture of the book. I also still had the receipt, so I thought I would pop both of those onto that page. I couldn't staple because of that pocket on the back, so I just used some of the magic tape to stick those in place. And then these spreads were mainly finished. It was just a case then of adding stickers and stamps and just a little extra kind of decorative things. So I'm going to give you now a flip through of the finished pages if you're interested. Again, if I'm using something on the page which is pre-made and I have a video, I will link it. I will also link any digital kits or downloads for you as well. But thank you very much for joining me, and I hope you enjoy having a look at the final pages. Please subscribe if you would like to see more, and or give the video a like so that YouTube know that people have watched the video and enjoyed it. And I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.